Hey, how are you doing? Good. It's good to see you today.
Good to see you too.
Alright, so let's get started. I have some good news for you. You did the right thing by coming in here. I examined your x-rays in the series of tests we did yesterday, and I feel confident that what you have is treatable with chiropractic care. So, good news is you're in the right place at the right time, which is awesome. So, because what you have is a chiropractic condition, I want you to know a few facts about chiropractic care first, if that's okay. So, we'll look at this. As you may remember from the video I had you watch yesterday, chiropractic is not new, it's not experimental, it's been a successful form of treatment of cases just like yours for over 100 years. So, in other words, if chiropractic hadn't been so successful, it would have disappeared a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
But in fact, the opposite is true. If you look at like studies, it shows that we're so popular and we have such successful results that we're now the second largest healing profession in the Western world, which is really cool. And what's most important for you to know, and don't worry, there's a lot of information, it's all pointed out in this brochure that I'm going to give you, you can take it home. But a study done by WebMD, which is right here, found that we have a 95% satisfaction rate with our patients. And 95%, that's a lot. In the medical world of healthcare, it'd be almost impossible to find a success rate that high, right? So you should feel confident that you've come to the right place for the solution to your problem, which is great.
Good.
All right, so let's talk about your condition. What brought you here? Why do you feel this way? Why are you having this pain? So first of all, it wasn't just one thing. It wasn't one wrong turn or lift that you did. You didn't pick up something too heavy. Forget all of that. This has been caused over a series of events over your lifetime that have caused this problem over time. So, in fact, it probably started with the trauma of childbirth, and then you take into account the hundreds of falls and spills and accidents you had as a child and a teenager, and then you add in your lifestyle you have today, and it'd be almost impossible to know the number of improper lifting and physical trauma events you've had to your spine. And keep in mind, that's almost with no prevention or treatment or care, no efforts to offset this wear and tear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is why I say it's not just one thing that happened, it's a series of things over time. That's why it's kind of important to get kids and babies in as soon as possible, to start that prevention early, so you kind of don't get to this point later on in life. We'll be glad to talk to you about that. If you have more questions ever, feel free to ask us. So basically, throughout your years, you've had an innumerable amount of nerve and tissue damage that you virtually left untreated. So basically, let's go through some examples. If you think about your teeth, for example, think about never brushing your teeth or never going to the dentist, nothing from the time you were born till now. Yeah. What condition would your teeth be in? It'd be pretty nasty, right?
Yeah.
Or you can think about like your cars. If you had tires that were never properly aligned or balanced, a blowout is inevitable, right?
Yeah.
So that's the same kind of concept we're thinking of here. You have all this wear and tear, and you really haven't left it treated at all. So it causes problems, right? So let's talk about that. What happens when we have this wear and tear that's not treated? What happens is your spine has spent years being pushed and pulled out of alignment, right? And it will cause pressure and squeezing of these discs, bringing them closer together in your spine. That will cause less flexibility, irritation, swelling. It can even pinch the nerves that come out from the bones here, okay? So the technical term we call this is subluxation. Basically, when the nerves gets pinched, it cuts off the flow of communication from your brain to the rest of its body. Yeah. All right? So subluxations will cause all types of problems that you can see if you study this chart here. You can see if you have subluxations in each of these areas, what it can cause. And I think you'll find it fascinating. There's all kinds of things. So basically what happens is your brain communicates the rest of the body through the nerves, right? Yes. So it transmits all this communication and helps your body function properly. So if the nerve flow is cut off or the communication is lost, the body can't function properly, right? Yes. So you think about an example of a water hose. If you pinch a water hose off, the water flow is stopped, right? Yes. Same thing happens with these nerves. When they get pinched, the nerve flow is stopped, the communication is stopped, and the body can't function properly. So what that causes is like dis-ease in your body. Something's not working right. basically. So subluxations cause more than just neck and back pain. They cause all types of dis-ease in your body, okay? So if you see here, there's 4 phases of this spinal degeneration process. Just like other conditions you're more familiar with, like cancer, the longer you let this go, the more severe the stage will get, and the more severe the health problems associated with the stage will get. So it's very important to start prevention early and prevent more stages of degeneration, so that we don't get worse, basically, right? Okay? So I would place you at about phase 2. What we'll do is we'll pull up your x-rays now so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about, because I know this is all real confusing. But if you look here, here's some examples of x-rays. This is normal, and then you kind of get into the worst degeneration stages. So this would kind of correlate with phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you will. So if you see here, you can look at a normal spine. You can see the discs. They're nice and thick there. The bones look good. Everything looks nice. And as you get worse, that disc space gets much smaller, like we talked about over here, which is when the nerves can get pinched. And then you start, even when you get real bad, you start seeing bony changes and structural changes. And that's kind of what we're trying to prevent. So this is where we don't want to go, right?
Absolutely.
So you can't take your x-rays home with you, and because you can't, I'll just circle on here what most represents your phase, just so you can keep that in mind, and you can show your family if they're interested, things like that, when you take this home with you. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so I think we've talked enough about what can cause your condition. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm just surprised that it's just not one thing that I did that messed me up.
Yep. But I mean, if you think about it, just like I said, you can't just not brush your teeth and expect your teeth to be fine,
That's
right?
True.
You however many times you fell on your booty as a toddler, when you're learning to walk, or you fell down on the playground, or you were in soccer and you got bonked, or things like that. All these things, and then you sit at your desk all day, and your posture's not very good, and you're stressed, and all these things kind of lead up to something like what you have now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So let's move on to the most important part, the part you really care about, and that's the solution to your problem, right? You're here to know how to fix it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So just as I mentioned earlier, this didn't start in a day. It wasn't just one thing, one turn, one lift, things like that. It didn't happen just yesterday. And because it didn't happen in a day, we can't fix it in a day either. Okay? So basically, the solution to your problem is a series of treatments that we like to call adjustments. What we'll do is we'll adjust your spine into its proper alignment. Now, I want you to think about an orthodontist. An orthodontist can't reach into your mouth and align your teeth properly in one visit, right?
No.
It takes a series of visits over a period of time to get your teeth properly aligned, correct? So the same thing's going to happen here. Basically, your spine has been misaligned for so long that it actually considers that position to be normal. And we're going to adjust your spine, and, well, I take that back. We'll go back. So your spine considers abnormal to be normal because it's been there so long. So what we'll have to do is these series of adjustments to retrain your spine and the muscles around it to the proper alignment. So it will take time. So what we'll do is we will adjust you, and quite frankly, it'll go back. It's kind of like 2 steps forward and 3 steps backwards. But what we'll keep doing is we'll keep adjusting until your spine gets properly retrained and it stays in that proper alignment. So that's why it's important that you keep all of your treatment times and you don't miss appointments, because we need that amount, that prescribed amount of treatment times and that frequency to have time to retrain your spine and get you back to health. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does.
So you can see why that's important. All right, so if you look here, I have your treatment plan, and I've divided it into 3 phases. The first phase is the most obvious. It's pain relief. That's what you want. That's why you're here. I want to get you out of pain. That's our first goal. So everybody responds a little differently, but we'll start with you, starting coming in 3 times a week for the next 2 weeks. Okay. We'll also apply some therapies that will supplement your adjustments and kind of help with this pain relief and kind of get it going, which will help you. So we'll do that, and I feel confident, like at the end of this phase, you're going to be feeling pretty good, probably be out of pain, and I bet you're going to think, oh yeah, we're not hurting, I'm all done. Well, that's not really true. And we say that because at that point in time, your condition is so fragile. Any wrong turn or lift, any event really, could potentially set you back to where you are now, if not even worse. and we don't want that. So that's why we say this second stage of care is almost even more important than the first stage. Okay? We call it the stabilization phase. So we've probably aligned your spine and it's fragile in that state, so we need to stabilize that state so we can keep you in the more normal position, right? So before we get to that stabilization phase, I'll do a progress exam. And basically what that is to make sure you're ready to move on to stabilization care. And then if, for example, you're getting better more quickly than I thought you would, we'll decrease your treatment plan because you don't need as much. You're responding really well, and we'll be happy to do that too. So it's kind of a, are we on the right path kind of thing, or do we need to change things? So we'll do a progress exam, and if you are in a stabilized, condition, your state has been stabilized, we will move you, if you're ready to move into stabilization care, we'll move you into that phase. That phase is much easier. I only need you to come in 2 times a week for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay? So based on your condition and people I've treated with conditions very similar to yours, I think after that amount of time that you will be in a stabilized condition, just based off of what we've done so far. So at that time, we'll do another progress exam, same kind of thing, make sure that you are stabilized, you're where we think you should be, and then if that's the case, we'll move you on to the next phase, okay?
Okay.
So the next phase is prevention, and you kind of ask, well, why is that important to my health and wellness? I'm feeling better, I'm not in pain anymore, and now I'm stabilized, so why do I need to keep coming? Well, the one problem we have with treating conditions like yours is we don't eliminate the cause. I'm not eliminating what actually caused the subluxations in the first place, and you aren't stopping what caused the subluxations in the first place. So think about it with your teeth again. If you went to the dentist and they cleaned your teeth and then they stayed like that forever, that would be great, right?
Yeah.
That would be the greatest thing ever. Don't need to brush them, don't need to go to the dentist. Well, for that to happen, maybe if you didn't eat forever, they would stay that way. But that's not realistic, right? You're not going to stop eating. So the same thing happens here. We can get you to that point, but it would just have to stay like that forever with no maintenance or no, preventative care. Just like at the dentist, you have to keep getting it maintained, right? Going to the dentist and brushing your teeth. Well, if we don't prevent it and have maintenance, it's not going to stay like that forever. So that's the point of the prevention stage. We will, instead of letting all this wear and tear that you have always, like I would never expect you to stop doing what brought you in here in the first place. You're not going to stop working. You're not going to stop doing all these activities that can give you wear and tear in your spine. I wouldn't expect you to. Then instead of letting all this get you to a point, all this wear and tear gets you to a point where you can almost not move, like now, we'll provide treatments so that we prevent that from happening again, and you don't get to this point again. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
I've never thought about it that way.
Okay, good. So when we get to that point, I wrote TBD, to be determined. When we get to this stage, we'll kind of, discuss, you and I, we'll discuss what we think you want to do for a maintenance plan, and we'll get you set up on that, and we'll start doing some preventative care for you. So maybe we don't get back to this point again, which would be great.
That
I
would
know
be
you don't want to
wonderful.
feel like you do now. That's never fun.
That's true.
All right, so kind of the motto of all of this is, basically, we don't like to do overhauls, right? Prevention is better than an overhaul, or I like to kind of explain it as wellness care is better than sickness care. And that's kind of what we want everybody to kind of get and understand, and that's what we want. We want everybody to be there. So wellness is what you want, that's what you need, and that's what we will give to you. But I need a couple of things from you so that we can get you to that point, okay?
Okay.
The first one is, like I said, I need you to make your treatment times. So the frequency of treatments and the amount of treatments is what makes chiropractic care work for people. When they come for the prescribed amount of times and they come that often, then it works for them. And so I really need you to try and make all your appointments so we can get you to that wellness point. I want you to be healthy, and that's kind of our goal, okay?
Okay.
The second thing is I need you to attend our health and wellness class. We do a health and wellness class here. It's fantastic. It's great information. I know you would benefit greatly from it, and we have a blast when we do it. And it's health information you've probably never heard before. And we titled it, How to Stay Young Your First 100 Years.
Oh.
I know, right? Crazy. But we have a good time doing it, and I've put your tickets in this folder for you. I've also included some for your family. And I think that if they could make it, they would greatly benefit from it too, so we'd love to have them come. So I've put them in there. We offer this class on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 7 o'clock, and we also do it once a month every Saturday at noon. So which time do you think would work best for you?
Well, how long does the class last?
It's about an hour.
Probably on the Saturday.
Okay, so we'll write that down. I'm going to write down Saturday for you, and that'll be at noon. And what we'll do is Miss Lynn, before you leave today, she's going to schedule you out for your treatment plan, and she'll also schedule you for the How to Stay Young class, because we kind of have a list for it. We have so many people come.
Okay.
And so yeah, I'm ready to start. Unless you have any questions, I'm ready to start your treatment if you're ready to go.
Well, I might have some as we go along, but I think for now,
Yeah,
you've
that's
answered my
fine. You know, you
questions.
feel free to ask me anything, anytime. You can call the office if something's not working out like you think, and absolutely, I'm open to anything. So feel free to ask at
Okay.
any time. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm ready to get started if you are.
I am.
Okay, let's get started.
Thank you.